Alrighty then. It's been a weird week. D&D on a Thursday, bank holiday on a Monday, so it doesn't even feel like Thursday. So
Oh
for
God,
some of it
yeah.
feels more like Wednesday, to be honest, because of the bank holiday. So here we are
Yeah.
with our usual Wednesday viewing. Um, and we, well, I suppose we'll start traditionally with a recap, shall we? Last time, the party returned from the forge of Belleroaloon to the dwarven city of Garlemheim with their newly forged weapons, and over a week before the summit. They spent their time resting, recuperating, and helping to deliver some of the scrying mirrors that will be used for the meeting. They met with King Cole, his advisors, and Genevieve, as well as delivering the mirror to the orcs, Zinda Farsight, and Reshi, before returning to Garlemheim. Arwen and the Staff of Fire and Rod of Alertness combined together to make a new, unique item with some of the powers of both. And the party got the magical wings/armor they acquired from Belleroaloon identified. As of yet, no one decided to attune to the magical plate armor. The summit started poorly, with the tieflings and halflings failing to attend, casting suspicions about their motivations. However, that would have to wait, as the first subject up for debate was what to do about the Cloud Giant proposition. The council debated back and forth, with strong arguments on both sides, until eventually a vote was called. This turned into another debate, however, but not as long, as to who should get a vote. The party themselves abstained from voting, and it was collectively decided that each nation should get 2 votes, one for their sovereign/monarch, and one for any remaining councillors. The meeting was adjourned, and each race took the time to deliberate amongst themselves. So, we pick things back up. The various races have returned, the mirrors have all been replaced, so everyone has a good view of each other around the table once more. King Corwin takes his seat. And as everyone takes their places, and the hall lapses into silence once more. King Garm stands up, ready to address the assembly as he has taken the position of hosting this summit. And he stands because we've all made a decision. We have, and he kind of shoots a look sideways towards where Lucinda is sitting, collectively decided 1 vote no and 1 vote yes.
Wait, who's that for?
This is King Garm.
So that's dwarves.
Yes.
Okay.
And he kind of gestures to one side where Genevieve is sitting. She stands up and says, "Well, as I'm the only representative here, I have the pleasure of having both votes. I vote no on both counts."
Oh, who's that for? That's
Genevieve,
elves.
the elves, yes.
Do know.
A number of sort of like people sort of outbursts and talking and muttering, and she kind of smooths her dress and says, "We should not allow ourselves to be coerced into any form of agreement while there is a threat at our doorstep."
Okay.
"You will all have your say, and I have mine. I disagree with this and have voted thus." And she kind of sits herself down. Up next, Pyronix, the Green Dragonborn, stands up and she kind of looks around slightly nervously, Celeston in his dragon form behind kind of snakes his head round to rest it on the table beside her. She puts a hand on his head for support. He says, we, and kind of gestures to herself and to Celeste, have decided that we have decided to vote yes on both counts.
Nice.
I think we have lost some allies and need all the help we can get.
Two down, right?
Kind of promptly sort of like sits down and kind of just like folds her hands and kind of looks down, just not really making eye contact with anyone. Up next, you see Zinda Farsight steps forwards, her white eyes catching the light in whatever room that she is in. We are also in agreement that we'll vote yes on both counts.
Woo!
There are more pressing concerns than adding to this council.
Wait. She voted yes.
Yes.
Okay. So she wants the giants.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Woo.
Up next is Lord Lucas kind of steps or stands up beside the mirror with Genevieve and King Corwin in it. He says, we are a split decision. Both no and yes. For some reason.
Oh.
And adds in a little sort of undertone. And then just sits down. And lastly, Queen Riedel kind of stands up in the frame of the mirror, and says, "We're also split, but if I've been counting correctly, it's not going to matter, as we are also no and yes."
Can I lean over to Lucas and ask who voted for what?
Yeah. He kind of tells you this. I voted no.
And the king voted yes.
He did.
Fair enough. I just sit back. I was just nosy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ingarn stands up again and says, well, if I've been counting correctly, the majority is yes. Therefore, we shall henceforth welcome a representative of the Cloud Giants onto this council.
Cool. Right, now to the more pressing things.
Indeed, sort of at this proclamation, there is a smattering of applause from some very disgruntled looks from both Lucas and Lucinda. The others who voted no are more adept at disguising their feelings. They probably didn't feel as strongly about them. But at this proclamation, Northie, who has been sat beside the king, stands up and says, well, I thank you all for the decision you have made. I will reach out to the chief, and I'm sure they will send someone post haste. And he departs.
Okay, thank God. I thought he was about to go, and I am, and I was going to be like, no, you idiot. Don't do that. But he's intelligent, so it's fine.
Small boy.
Whew. Does that mean that the thingy has gone? Oh.
So,
Fine.
as the door kind of shuts behind Northy, King Garn stands up again and says, "Well, the next order of business is what we do about the elves." And he kind of looks slightly apologetically towards Genevine. Says, "We need to decide how we respond to both the treachery and the threat."
Yeah.
Does anyone have any thoughts? Would anyone like to speak first?
A large dome.
Yeah, well, Simpsons movie it.
Hmm. That's all I got.
Well, here's the thing. You can't hurt the people for the decisions their betters have made.
Not better.
However, when we went there, we weren't exactly greeted very openly.
Force them to open their borders.
Oh, I don't know. It's a hard one. Because, I mean, I guess just for now, I guess they're any of them that side with, you know, the people that betrayed us. I don't know. I guess they're, criminals in.
Yeah, but the problem is, can you blame an army for having to go along with what? Are they forced to be in the army, or do they sign up?
Well, this is the thing, you see. This is the issue. Because are they just soldiers following orders?
Yeah.
Or do they actually... I guess we can't really make that decision on behalf of all of the elves until we know what all of the elves have been told.
No, this was all of the elves, like, in the world.
No, yeah, it's just the...
Obviously, like...
We have an elf
Just
it was only one council member. Part of the two that made the decision. And then obviously...
Just stupid lady.
Can we ask Genevine, like... So at the minute, like... Is Genevine actually here with us, or is she...
Yeah.
Yes, right. So, I guess I'd ask, like...
rescued her, and while other councillors decided to go and see their monarchs in person,
she obviously didn't.
She decided it was best not, seeing as she was captured and you rescued her, she thought it best probably not to return.
So I guess I'd ask her, have you had any contact with the elves at all?
No. She said,
No.
no, I have not reached out and not been reached out to.
Okay.
Mm.
I believe that they rightfully assumed that I would not be complicit in their treachery if had they told me about it.
I guess. Because problem is, yeah, we can't just say like, all right, well, all the elves who are against it are bad because, yeah, we don't know which ones were actually against it or were who were just following orders or who are this takes me to like the Nuremberg trials and shit like that where it's like, okay, how many Nazis were actually Nazis or how many Nazis just didn't want to be killed and booted out of their country and lose their entire career.
I guess we know 2. We can condemn 2.
Yes, we can condemn 2 individuals pretty well. Beyond that, I'm unsure. Beyond that,
I say we kill her. Not Genevieve, obviously.
Genuine would speak up and say, the problem is those 2 individuals hold sway over the entirety of what's left of my race.
You know what I think we need to do? And this might be wrong or, I don't know, stupid, but I think a message needs to be sent because I'm wondering how much the actual elven people know of what's happened. For example, have they been told that the country has betrayed them? Or have they been told, right, the rest of Kavran, the continent, is going along with this thing, but we're going to do this thing. And you have to be fine with that, And some people in the in Yelion and in whatever are fine with that, and some people aren't. So it'd be interesting if we could get some kind of feedback from that, and I think from that answer. But then again, it's not like we can just go there and say, "Hey, can everyone just sign a quick ballot? Can you just sign this and see if you're pro or against?" And I guess, I was thinking, could we do some like weird magic mouth spell where we basically, I don't know, conjure a big illusion and say, hey, anyone who's not for what's going on here, leave so that we know you're on our side, otherwise you're considered an enemy of us.
But why would you want to leave your own home just because some stupid person's stupid?
Yeah.
And we don't know if they're being lied to and made to think that we're the bad guys.
Yeah.
Oh, what was her name?
You mean the Queen lady? Or like that lady that came in and was like, she made a portal, I think, and that's what she did.
Oh, no.
Oh no, the one that like started the negotiations.
No, I want to talk to Lady Verona. I want to know what her thought is on all of this. I wonder if...
Who was Lady Verona again?
She was the first person we ever did like a quest for, basically, or one of the first people. She was from Ithamel.
Right.
She was the like leader of Ithamel, like something,
Yeah, and Ithamel's definitely an elven place, right? Because it's.
Oh yeah, she was elven.
Yeah,
it was.
Well,
but I think Ithamel got taken over by the baddies. But if she's moved somewhere, she might have some insight into what the hell is.
Well,
the elven.
I did ask for some scrolls of sending to be made for situations just like this one. How many of those did I get, JJ? Because I asked them to make as many as they could.
In a week, probably like 2.
2, okay. So let's say we have 2. Did we want to use one to maybe contact someone from the elves and be like, hey, what's going on? Yeah, because I think unless we know whether it was a...
Where's Yelion? What's over there?
What kind of decision this is, we can't really speak for anyone. Other than just saying all the elves are by default complicit. But they're not. But they are because of their leaders? Like, I don't know.
Well, regardless of what the people decide, it is the people making the decisions we need to confront. And we need to decide how we do it, whether we ignore them and leave the elves alone to their own devices and risk them massing and turning against us and catching us off guard. I do not feel entirely comfortable having that threat on my borders. I don't know about you, Lady Farsight. My vote would be, while we have a threat at hand, we deal with that.
Do you not think that if Balsam is eliminated, they will have nothing to rally around?
I think that, yeah. I think if we beat Balsam, they would, yeah, cut off the head of the snake sort of thing. I think then they would lose their massive backing, and it would basically be the entirety of Kavran versus the elves. And I know the elves are strong, and the elves have quite a large area at their disposal, and they are powerful, but, I mean, surely that's not a fight they're going to want to take and continue to do, particularly when they've given up a lot of their people for Balsam's cause. And given up a lot of their land for Balsam's cause, and yada yada yada. Because that was the thing Balsam wanted. He wanted an army to go do his thing.
Yeah, Genevieve will speak again. I don't know whether it's a case of given up. I think it's more of a case of lost. We lost Ithamel, we lost Yelion. It is not out of recent memory, or what we elves would consider recent memory, that we lost a great number of soldiers to the disaster of our draconic protector. We have lost more in the last 100 years or so than I think everyone else combined. While I do not agree with their decision, I can see the reasons behind it. But I would advise against an attack. The forest is where we are strongest, where we are connected, where we are, in some cases, almost literally rooted into the ground. I do not think, although I am not a military person, that they will marshal any great force with any great speed. We are a long-lived and therefore slower race. If we were to come up with an alternative swiftly, we may be able to do as the Fellowship has said, and defeat Balsam before my brethren have a chance to marshal against us.
Hell yeah.
And Corley again saying, and if you're wrong, and they do move quickly, where do you think they will go first? They will strike at me and mine, I am sure of it. We are their closest threat.
Well, then I'll punch them all in the face myself. Because my house is nearby, so...
I mean, is there some kind of precedent for us as a group going and facing? I mean, I don't think we could get close to Lord Leocas and stuff. I mean, we could try and get close to them and apprehend them and maybe see if their country follows, or at least we could go there and like tell them what's happening elsewhere in the world, or maybe see what's happening elsewhere in the world. That could potentially work. Like, find out what the average person and what the average people know and what they believe, sort of.
That's a very big area to ask people.
It is, but I'm thinking we've got plenty of teleporty things, and if we're just going around and getting a vibe of like, going into taverns, getting a vibe of like, okay, what do these people know? What do they think? How do they feel about XYZ? Yada yada yada. It's a tough one. Because also we're pretty high on the priority of people they don't want there. So
yeah,
I think we wouldn't be able to do it. But I also no, but I think in the end, I think Lady Genovan's probably got the best idea of if we move swift enough, we can, as I say, cut off the head of the snake, and then they have nothing to back. They have nothing backing them.
Yeah,
just them.
I think that. Are they doing a vote for that, or are they just agreeing with us?
Zinda, actually, Reshi will step forwards for the officers. We are in a difficult position. The elves are one of our closest neighbors, although since Balsam's assault on Ithamel and Yelion, we also have lost contact with Ormsdala. The city...
With who?
Ormsdala.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
On the north coast. The city seems to be under a shadow rule. We think some sort of deal was done, and therefore it was salvaged from destruction.
The
problem... One of the problems with that is we do not know where the threat lies. If our sources tell us that Baltham has conquered a small portion and has returned to the desert for his own ends. But we do not know what else has transpired. We are also still getting many reports that his devils are cropping up all over the place and still causing problems. We would strike out to reclaim what is ours, to defend the common folk, as it were, but it is difficult to know where to go. Traditionally, we are not a land force. We work better on the sea, but our soldiers do still know how to march when the time comes. The problem comes with where to send them. Do we send them to elf cities to try and reclaim them, restore some semblance? Do we send them to defend towns and villages nearby to make sure we do not lose anything further? Or do we march wholesale?
I mean, I'd say you defend the towns for the time being, and then when we actually fight, you do a fight. You don't go to the elves because, like Genevieve said, they'll take it as a threat and just try and fight back.
And also, I think we want to be seen as right, and we want to be seen as betters. And I think if suddenly the rest of the world starts marching on the elves are going to get pretty defensive. Like, if the rest of the world started marching on me for what my leaders had done, I'd get pretty defensive. I think what we would do is, and that maybe I'm wrong in this, I think we would focus on Balsam. We would focus on that fight.
Agreed.
And, because as I say, once we've taken out Balsam, they've got nothing left to fight for. I can't imagine why they're doing this other than maybe, gaining some power after they think Balsam's won. We can show them that Balsam's lost. They can do nothing else but give up the gun and go, all right, fair play, we lost. And we can then, go in and sort of with a peace force, not an army, but just delegates and things like that to make sure that the leaders are brought to account. But I think this all requires us acting very, very quickly before things can kick off too much. I do think there is a chance that the elves could march and attack against a human city or a whatever, or even an orcish city. But I think if we made evacuations, for example, in the closest areas, got things ready, maybe had a sort of defensive force, there is a chance we could negate a lot of potential damage and negate a lot of potential risk of leaving ourselves vulnerable if we made those sorts of preparations now. I know a lot of people aren't going to want to leave their home, but it's fucking wartime. Get a grip.
Queen Riedel will speak up. Well, speaking as someone who has to keep the interests of her people in mind, I can see why the decisions were made that were made. They, as Lady Genevieve has pointed out, the elves have lost more than anyone. And when faced between a choice between the potential for further obliteration, or making peace with the one that is attacking, I can understand why such an agreement was reached. As you said, it is potentially not each and every elf who has sided with. I am in favor of a slow approach. I think we should send some agents in to scope out the situation like you suggested, see what sort of resistance they come across. I'm sure if we work hard, we can find the seeds, or maybe even plant the seeds of some resistance. Maybe in a few weeks or months, we can garner enough support to pose some sort of coup. Bring those responsible for this betrayal to justice and install our own sympathetic rulers in their place to reunite once more.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Then, as a potentially united force, we can focus on the threat at the center of our country once more. A few sort of murmurings and things around the table. King Gum. Well, it seems like we have a few options put forward. To summarize, and please fill in any that I missed, we have one party who is in favor of a direct assault. This would be to forcefully and swiftly remove that leadership to reunite the nation once more. Am I correct? And King Colin kind of nods. Yes, that is correct. Remove this threat swiftly before they can threaten us. And then we have a second group who are more inclined to ignore any potential problems the elves would present to us and encourage us to marshal forces quickly for a direct assault on Balsam, who we have the last intelligence led us to believe he has retreated and is reinforcing his position in the desert. And then we have the option proposed by Queen Riedel here, that is a more patient approach, where we attempt I can't think of the words, a more political campaign to turn a group of loyalists to our side and attempt to remove the elven rulers, Lady Glace, and her co-conspirator off from their positions. What we do not know is how widespread this issue might be. If the elves themselves have already sowed the seeds of a story, it may be hard to turn enough of them and garner support for the cause that we need. On the other hand, they may not be fond of the position they are in. Lady Genevieve, do you believe that Lady Glace has the power to instill a military rule. As well, I'm not entirely sure. As I say, military matters are not my area of expertise. Certainly, a large number of her personal sort of house guards and things were destroyed in our rescue, but I don't know how long this plan has been in motion and what sort of loyalties she has managed to garner from the other lords of Themyscira or the other cities. Without more intel, it's impossible to say. Those are our options. Direct assault, subterfuge, a subtle approach, or ignoring them and focusing elsewhere. Seems like we have reached the position for another vote. Is there anything anyone would like to say before we adjourn?
No, I don't think so. I got say is that whatever we do is going to be very, very risky. And I would just urge people to remember that, who the proper enemy is in all this, and who's just a turncoat that we can,
Turn.
that we can turn back. Yeah. But yeah, let people vote. I think that's fair. It's a difficult decision.
Yeah. Queen Riddle, consensus. The people are not our enemies. We need to remember that.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It's those in power that we need to remove.
Also, I would say
peacefully, we have a better chance of garnering support. The last thing we want is to wage war on a portion of our is to delve into civil war and then have to turn around and ask those people that we were just fighting to fight for us.
Yeah, don't attack them. Just let them be.
Yeah. I would say as well that like any disruption we do to the elves themselves is going to be like, that is going to be, if we can just, even like distill any kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Any kind of the seeds of doubt in the elven society, as it were. I mean, that's going to, put a halt on their plans. I'm sure there aren't going to be people who just stand by and watch as their leaders turn them against the rest of the world or the rest of the continent. And I'm sure these people, if given the opportunity, could be quite disruptive and maybe buy us some time. But generally, particularly in our experience, disruption ends up, that can. It only takes like a small little thing for things to snowball and end up potentially becoming larger. So maybe subterfuge, but also maybe we need to focus on who the real enemy is and blah 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 blah. Let them vote now, I guess.
Indeed.
Regardless, well, it's been a long morning. I think we should call an early adjournment to this. Everyone go and have some lunch and discuss amongst yourselves with your compatriots as to what you feel is best. We will return in an hour to decide the vote. And with that, he kind of pushes back from the table, and with Cathra by his side, the two of them Part the hall, guards open the giant door for them. Other council members begin to, get to their feet. Genevieve swiftly kind of sweeps out of the room, not making eye contact with anyone. Lord Lucas kind of calls one of the guards over, and but a couple of guards over and has them move the mirror, so that they can continue to have this discussion. He can continue to speak to Genevieve and King Corwin while they eat from somewhere privately, and that sort of the council disperses for the time being. What would you like to do?
What have we like
Play Tiddlywinks.
Yeah, I guess there's not really much we can do right now other than just wait until.
Well, I mean, you
that
can
shit.
go and speak to people. You can retroactively make some insight checks into people if you want to try and figure out more about which way you think they will vote. And then you can go and speak to them and try and make persuasion checks to try and change their mind if you want to try and sway the votes in a certain direction.
That feels like tampering. Is that ethical?
What, to go and talk to people and debate with them?
Yeah, while they're having a talk about things.
Yeah, I mean, it's what they'll be doing as well. They'll be going and talking to each other and things like that.
Oh, okay. So they're talking to each other.
How these things normally play out in council politics of people kind of different things are put forward and people kind of go, well, which way are you going to vote? Well, I think I'm going to vote this way, but because of this, blah blah blah. Well, what have you considered this? And they try and persuade them to their side.
Okay.
And occasionally that's done unethically.
I'll do an insight on the dragons.
On the dragons?
Yeah.
Okay. Make your insight check. The dragon's going. 14.
13.
Where are they? My notes. Based on what you know of them and sort of how they were reacting to the various things that they have said, you reckon that they are very keen to attack the elves directly.
No.
Yes, that's an issue, isn't it? Okay.
Should we start with them?
Yeah, maybe start with them and speak to them and see what we can say.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah, you head over to them. Celeste has kind of picked up the mirror in her, and you see as she goes to pick it up, one of the dwarven guards kind of rushes forwards, and then she kind of puts one arm around this mirror and just hoists it onto her shoulder, and the guard's just kind of oh okay, and kind of steps back looking a little awed. While even though their mirror isn't currently in use, there is the potential that it might be, it is linked to one back home. So they may be going to discuss.
The Dragonborn?
Yeah.
Yeah, Celtigar Razortooth is on it.
He's not on it.
Oh, no, he's not. Sorry. I was reading the wrong part of my notes. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you head over to them as people are carrying mirrors out of the room.
Hi.
Hello. We just wanted to get a vibe and a feel for what people were thinking. And we maybe sort of, got some vibes that you were very pro attack.
Yeah, it's actually Celeste on the young blue dragon that speaks first. He says, yes, you must defend. You must defend first. If you defend from a threat, then it won't come back. If you allow it to go unchecked, then it will continue to be a problem. We must defend our horde and our home.
Whilst we understand this, and we understand where you're coming from, I think I would just urge you to think about how many resources this might use up, and how this might set us on the back foot. I think, as much as this isn't what the elves want, this is what Balsam wants. He wants us divided. He wants us not fighting him directly, distracted by other things than him. He wants us to be... he really wants us to have a fight with the elves. Because if we have a fight with the elves, then we're not fighting him, and we're, just having people die, soldiers die that aren't fighting him, and using up a lot of resources and time as well. Because remember, time's a big thing. And ultimately, he wants to create an undead army, and if we send a bunch of soldiers in to die, potentially, whether on his side or our side, we're just fueling his army either way. This is a difficult decision, I understand. And whilst I, in other circumstances, might agree that, yes, you can't, let something fester. You can't just let let people get away with things like this. I think I would just remind you, possibly, that these are difficult times, and we want ourselves to be united on a front against a singular common enemy. And it's like that old adage that I've used about 10 times today. But if we can, put that against the snake, the main thing, and if we can cut the head off the snake, then this problem won't come back anyways. This problem...
We can then pick off the lower nuisances.
Yeah. Well, if we take away the power of those elves who are, responsible for this treachery, and their power coming from Balsam, therefore, if we can take away Balsam, we can take away, their power, their influence, and their need to fight, really. Because after Balsam's gone, they've got nothing. After Balsam's gone, they've just got an idea of what could have been. And they can't take on Kavran themselves. Not after everything that's happened to them. The Great Protector, with the attacks on their forests, with everything. They just can't. And could I turn that into some kind of persuasion role?
I'd like to help. Because I said words.
As I'm fairly good at persuasion. Come on!
Ooh.
28. Let's go.
28. Okay.
But I think I would just end with, but obviously, I don't know Dragonborn. So if you really do feel like you have to vote this way, then go for it. And that's just how I would finish, very politely.
Yeah. So let's just... I had thought of the situation as a gangrenous limb that needed to be I can't remember what amputated for our own survival. Mayhaps you are right, and it is less of a gangrenous limb and more of an errant hatchling.
Yeah, just Skewer it.
I'm thinking it's more like almost like an infected one.
Well,
And
and
you can
yes, I'm just thinking
cut away that.
of it as an infected limb that had to be removed to better the whole. Your words made me think that perhaps this is more of an errant hatchling that just needs to be left to throw its tantrum against the wind until it sees the error of its ways.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And comes back to the clutch. I shall think on what you have said while we come, Paranix.
Thank you. Just step away. Been like, guys,
One down.
one down.
Let's go.
Target eliminated. I mean, wait, no.
Who now? Who now?
Next. Klari,
Elves are
did you
pretty
happen
much on
to
our side.
see anyone? Did you get any vibes from anyone? Any insight into any of the other people that were around the table? Possibly. I don't know, like the humans, maybe, or something.
Who does insight? Who does do an insight for everyone? Do I have to?
I would.
I have to.
Inside someone's like one specific.
I would probably say someone specifically.
If you
Probably.
want to do everyone, it'll be at disadvantage, and the DC will be much higher because you're trying to focus on too much at once.
Yeah.
If you want to do one specifically, it's just a normal roll.
I would say you were plus 14 to insight, though, so with disadvantage, I think you're probably okay. Obviously, we don't know.
Yeah.
No, but if you think that if you're focusing on someone specifically, it's so much easier to gather information because you can react to everything they've said. If you're trying to focus on everyone, you've got to keep such a much wider, broader opinion of everyone, and it's.
So we've got the humans, the dwarves. We've done the dragonborn. Was it gnomes?
You've got gnomes and you've got elves.
But the elves is just one lady, so.
And the elves we know.
Yeah.
Orcs.
They were very.
And
She was very vocal.
So yeah, humans, orcs, gnomes, and dwarves. Pick one.
Go with humans.
Humans.
Okay.
Humans.
30. Yeah. Mostly based on his words. You're pretty sure that certainly King Corwin is going to be voting to just launch an assault on the elves.
Okay.
He seems to be of a mind to attack first, rather than wait to be attacked.
Okay. This one's going to be difficult because they are the closest ones to them. And also, humans are tricky. Does anyone have any ideas other than just basically repeating what I've already said to the orcs?
What about Genevieve? How does Genevieve feel?
We could. Oh, actually, that's a good point. We could talk to Genevieve herself.
I think, yeah, I'm gonna have a heart to heart with Genevieve. I don't need an insight. I'm just gonna talk to her.
She's our buddy.
Hey, girl.
Okay. Yeah. So you ask a servant where they are, and they escort you through various corridors to a chamber. For a knock on the door, it is answered by Lord Lucas. He kind of looks not surprised, but a little bit maybe sort of perplexed to see you all there. What are you all doing here?
Oh, we just want to talk to Jen, please.
Oh, right, okay. Well, come on in. We were mid discussion, but I'm sure the king will give us a few minutes if you wish.
Yes, please.
Stands back to let you all in. You can see that there's some modest quarters have been arranged for him, and the mirror is propped up on one side of a table. A chair is on the other with a sort of plate of food, and you can see on the other, through the mirror, you can see some food and things have been brought out to Genevieve and King Corwin, where they're sat on the opposite side. King Corwin's brow kind of furrows a little bit when he sees you all, whereas Genevieve kind of brightens up a little bit.
Hey, Jen.
Hello?
Hey, girl.
Stix, Klari, Hero?
Hello.
Brings you all to speak to us.
Well, we just wondering if, we could borrow Genevieve real quick.
Make a persuasion check.
Is Genevieve in the mirror? She's in the mirror, isn't she?
Yeah, she's in the mirror. So you're basically asking the king to leave.
Oh, hilarious.
Or I could lift the mirror out of here.
No, she's also in the mirror.
She's in the mirror,
Yeah,
and so is the king.
Oh, that makes sense.
Pretty please?
I mean, with an 8, it's kind of Genevieve herself. She says, "Oh, and I'm really sorry, but we don't really have time for personal discussions at the moment. We have to get to reach a resolution for this vote, and we don't have a lot of time."
Okay.
I'm sure we can speak after.
Okay.
Okay.
This is decided. I was going to say I'll be back, but I don't know where the council will be situated once this is all over. But I'm sure we'll see each other again soon.
Yay.
Well, in any case, I guess we were just sort of hoping to speak to you generally. We obviously understand some strong words were said earlier about, the current situation, and we understand how you guys might feel given your proximity to the elven. I was about to say states, but it's not states. It's fucking the elven lands. And obviously, I'm no king. I'm not even a human. But I'm half human, I suppose, and half elven. Not that that really has anything to do with anything, but I do feel it gives me a right to and we live with you guys, and it gives me the right to somewhat say, we understand how tempting it must be to launch an attack when you are in such close proximity, and we understand, we really, really do, how scary it must be to have these enemies literally right at your borders. I mean, we've faced a lot of enemies in the past, and yes, our thing has always been, us more often than not been, to strike first and ask questions later. And for us, it's usually worked out. So I can kind of understand where you're coming from. But this isn't like any other situation that we've ever been in, or that maybe you've ever been in. Because in this, you're not alone. It's one thing I've realized about Kavran, and one thing I've realized about just people, is that, you're a human settlement, and the elves are an elven settlement, and the dwarves are a dwarven settlement, but in their mixed is just a society of people who are trying to get through the day-to-day and make the most of it. And there's a togetherness there. There's a togetherness between all of you council members, between all the races, between all the peoples of Kavran. And I would urge you to think about that togetherness when you're thinking about diverging yourselves off to make an attack. Because you could make an attack against the elves. You could. And it could be somewhat successful. But how would you be dooming other people? How would you be dooming, potentially, not necessarily, potentially dooming the others who are trying to take care of Balsam? Because say you make a successful attack against the elves. I mean, the elves are only half, probably less, of Balsam's forces, of Balsam's allies and abilities. He has so much more on the table. And, to add to that fact, any potential deaths from either your side or the elves are just adding to his undead army. He has a massive army of undead and demons and all sorts of things that he's bringing to the table. And if you go and send soldiers to potentially die, you're just adding to all of that. So I'm not telling you what to do, and I can't tell you what to do in all this, obviously. And I understand the very, very difficult position that you are in, but I would urge you to maybe think about the larger picture. I understand you have to rule over your lands, and that is fine, and I get that. But I would urge you to think of what might happen to your lands if you take care of the elves, but you let Balsam and the larger picture fall by the wayside. And can I make a persuasion roll with that, please?
Okay.
Yay. I like persuading. Ooh, 19. Yee. Not as good. Good, but not as good. To be fair, tough crowd.
Tough crowd, indeed.
Speaking to a mirror.
I mean, Genevieve gives you a kind of supportive smile.
Tap at her fingertips.
The king seems less receptive. As you're starting to speak, he seems disinterested in what you're saying. He continues to eat. So as you continue,
What is eating?
his lunch.
Oh,
We have stopped for lunch. It's Taco Tuesdays.
Absolutely. But as you continue to speak, he places down his knife and fork, kind of just leans forwards on his elbows and rests his chin on his hands and just kind of listens to what you're saying. And when you've finished, he kind of stands up and paces for a bit. He sighs and he says, I believe your name is Stix, yes?
Indeed.
You would make a very fine politician, Stix. You speak eloquently.
Thank you.
However, as you have admitted, you are lacking certain experiences. From what I've heard from Genevieve, there is no doubting your martial prowess. But forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe I would be correct in saying that you have never fought in a real battle. You have fought in what we would call skirmishes. Small confrontations between small groups. You have never stood and faced down a cavalry charge. You have never ridden with a cavalry charge. You have never stood on the battlefield and heard the thousands around you die to arrow fire.
have you?
I mean, I would maybe assume something of that, yeah.
Yeah, but has there been a massive battle like that?
in my youth, I fought my father's under my father's banner in the Gold War.
Okay.
Relatively, you can make a history check if you want.
Or I'll make a history.
Can we all make
check.
history checks?
Yeah.
Learn about this in kiddie school, maybe.
Oh damn! I know about Gold War.
Arwen went down a weird, but yeah, I was about to say went down a weird rabbit hole of looking things up, but then I remembered you can't read, so
Yeah. So Arwen, you
This is
probably
one of the stories I was told.
You probably remembered the Gold War, because it was a war. The reason it was called the Gold War was because it was started over taxation. That's not why Arwen remembers it. Arwen remembers it probably for one of the heroes of the Gold War who well, basically, it was started over taxation because a group of nobles decided that they wanted to. They were unhappy paying the taxes, and they wanted to supersede from and form their own nation, basically. And so they decided to try and do that. So they called their banners together, and they basically tried to attack a few of their neighbors to eliminate them, take over their lands, and kind of grow a small country for themselves. But one of the heroes of the Gold War was an elf who happened to be fighting alongside the king at the time, and was a very proficient archer. And this elf is said to have slain 2 of the 3 leaders of that small faction with their powerful bow. Which is probably why it sticks in Arwen's mind. But it was a... war is probably too grand a name for it, but it is called the Gold War because several battles were fought over a period of about 6 months to decide it. But yeah, it's called... And so that is the confrontation that the king is referring to.
Okay. I mean, you're right. I've never done any of those things, but I have, I've faced pretty big threats in my time. I've fought with many of your people, many of the elven people, funnily enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did not mean it as a slight on your personality.
No,
Person.
Of course not.
I just meant to establish your experience in such matters.
That's the way I took it.
I've punched a dragon in the face.
Hey!
Those are.
Oh, wait. Yeah, no, that was fine.
It was the white dragon. I had 30 strength. I felt very good. I felt very good about my actions that day. But yeah.
Yeah, we've beaten at least 3 dragons.
What? There was the white one, there was the emerald one, there was...
Green
one, yes. Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I think there might have been more, but no, I think they were white.
No.
We've released some.
We've released some. We've fought a big mix. Big old mix.
And I know a dragon.
Anyway,
a big one.
But what I would say is, as much as I've never fought in one of these wars, obviously they sound bloody horrible. They sound absolutely atrocious. So why would you want to put your people through that as a smaller unit against a smaller war, which ultimately might not matter in the overall outcome? I'm not saying it won't matter, but I'm just saying that you could either send your people into conflict against the elves. You could man that cavalry charge. You could be in that rain of arrows, and you could force people into that situation. Well, encourage people into that situation, or force them. You're a king. I don't know. And you could do that against the elves, only for them to have to do that again against Balsam. Except against Balsam, it's not going to be against some elves. It's going to be against undead horrors your people are not used to. I would encourage you to save your people. I mean, obviously, again, I don't know war. You are correct. I am the inexperienced one here. But to me, it makes sense to save your people's strength for the greater battle ahead. If the elves are going to... We don't know what the elves are going to do, but if there are things that we can do to protect your people and face down Balsam. I'm not saying we just, leave all of your army, bring all of your army. No, you're going to need defenses. You are, ultimately. And your people are maybe going to have to suffer for a bit while they are potentially under siege or whatever. They might have to evacuate. But I personally would just think that adding to the greater whole against a greater threat rather than splitting yourself off and potentially damaging yourself for any future encounters, and damaging the rest of everyone for any future encounters. You don't have to lead your people into more cavalry charges and under more archery and arrows and whatever than need be. But that's my piece on it, and maybe I'm wrong. But that's what, that's what I would think. But I understand, and I understand it's a very, very difficult decision. And as I say, you're right there. The elves are right there. But that's
it's a very difficult decision. The way I see it is, moving preemptively will give us the advantage and reduce the amount of time that the soldiers have to take to the field. If we move swiftly, we can take a large area of territory before they even have time to prepare. If we encounter... My hope is we will encounter small resistance, and the common folk will, as we move, will decide to join us and overthrow their lords. But if not, then we shall have to proceed until we have victory. We also have the matter of, and I'm sure this will be debated later on, but we have the matter of the tieflings and the halflings. What role will they play in this? If we strike fast against the elves, they may reconsider their position if they are thinking about turning against us. If we show that we as a nation are united, and we will not stand for leaders to turn against the councils that they once pledged themselves to, then in the long run we may save further bloodshed.
Arwen's feeling stabby.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. It's tough not knowing. I mean, the last time we saw the tieflings and the halflings, they were about to be killed by Balsam and the elves and stuff. So I can't imagine they're on their side at the very least willingly, if at all.
Yeah, the tieflings have literally been their whole entire land has been overtaken, and lots of them have been made refugees. There is absolutely no way in hell they're like, oh yeah, we want to be with them. Like, That's obvious. If you can't see that, you're dumb.
Unless they've just completely given up and have gone, fuck it, maybe this way we live.
And I would say that too.
No, they wouldn't live, because Balsam literally said, no. We're gonna sacrifice a bunch of your soldiers in a massive war that ultimately isn't gonna make much difference.
Can you not see how people displaced from their homes would leap at the chance to maybe return to them peacefully? If whatever leadership was
Yeah, peacefully, but not in front of not to the people that bombed them and no, not bombed them, invaded them.
Genevieve kind of speaks. Arwen, look at it like this. The tieflings have all been displaced. If they were offered a chance to return to their homes, if a deal was done and they accepted Balsam and his leadership, they could potentially return to their homes, and the vast majority of them would remain unaffected by this.
Yeah, but you guys don't want to be invaded by the elves. So if the elves said, you can all go back home if I rule over all of you, what would you say?
Well, fortunately, we are in the position where we have the strength.
No. What would you say?
Let me finish. I am a king.
I don't give a shit!
The decorum is lacking.
I don't think that's helping. I think we kind of need to give a shit right now.
Yes, but he is obviously not listening to me because he just said the exact opposite thing of the thing that he was trying to defend against. So he's just put himself into a little corner and now he's going to cry about it. Because I held a mirror up to his mirror face.
I've genuinely forgotten what my train of thought was with that, so I can't actually finish that point because I've forgotten it. I've been sassed into amnesia.
And that is a win.
Yay!
What was he even saying?
I don't know. He was like getting mad at me or something.
He was getting mad, but I can't even remember what he was trying to say before he got mad.
He was saying about tieflings being displaced, and if he was in that position.
Yes,
but
yes. We are fortunate. We are in a position where we still have the strength to resist and do what is right. However,
but
go on.
If you didn't,
I think he's about to go.
And you were forced into that position where you were given the option of going home but having to stand down and be taken over by the elves, would you?
I think most people would choose life over destruction.
Would you?
I don't need to answer that.
You do, because you're the one answering for everyone else.
Can I make a check to see if the reason he isn't answering is because he kind of thinks Arwen's right?
You can make an insight check if you want.
Like, he's not answering because he realizes, I've been kind of shown to be a bit of a dick here.
I've been bamboozled.
Never mind.
Oh
no. Never mind.
He seems quite mad, quite difficult to read. Arwen is being quite rude to a king who's probably not had someone be this rude to him in quite a long time.
Some people just need to be humbled.
I think we need to remember our house is there. Eking up our council tax quite significantly if he wanted to.
No! Oh, not my household tax.
Your household tax.
My household tax.
My house. Right. Well, I don't think there's anything really left to say to this guy.
Can I insight Genevieve?
Yeah, you can insight Genevieve.
Oh, yeah, that might be a good idea.
Have I kind of made her... Oh! Can she, if we leave her now, can she kind of sway it in a more eloquent and diplomatic way?
Yeah, like, you know Genevieve quite well. You think she was probably trying to do that anyway. But yeah, like, you see her based on her reactions and what you know about her. You at one point, Arwen just started speaking. She just put her head in her hands, like behind the king's back, and was just like, "Oh no." But yeah, you think that Genevieve has certainly been like, it certainly agrees with what you and Stix have said.
Inspired by me.
Absolutely. Pretty ready to swear fealty to you as her queen. Although it's more like, yes, queen. Yeah, no, you think Genevieve agrees with the position that you're putting forwards, and it's probably going to result in a split vote for them.
Okay, that's fine.
I can deal with a split vote.
As long as she can, bully her boyfriend into submission.
In that healthy relationship of theirs.
Yeah.
What secret relationship of theirs?
Very secret. Nobody knows.
Yes, much secret. Very secret.
Very hush.
Very hush.
Cool. Right. Well. Now what? Orcs.
Well, the orcs were sort of on our side, weren't they, in the conversation? They were the ones...
I honestly lost track.
They were the ones... I correct me if I'm wrong, JJ, but I believe the orcs were the ones suggesting that, kind of agreeing with our plan. Or were they not? Because they're also
They were somewhat mixed. They were somewhat on a like a... Yeah, if at one end you have attack and at the other end you have do nothing, they were sort of wavering somewhere in the middle.
Ooh, they can be swayed.
Okay. I'm realizing a lot of what I'm saying I should have just said to the group at large, because it's a similar
It's
thing.
applicable.
It's very, very applicable.
But you don't always think of these things. I don't always think of these things, which is why we let dice decide as well. Because I'll be honest, I don't have the intelligence to run a country, so I kind of just have to guess based on personality traits that I've assigned at random to NPCs.
Fair enough. So if we were to go over to the orcs, rather than me doing a very big speech again, which I love to do, but I do honestly get a bit tired, could I sort of make a persuasion check, if I were to basically repeat a similar thing as to what I said to the humans? The fact that I know they're literally on borders with the elves, but if they divert their forces, it's going to lead to more casualties anyway, because not only they're going to have to face the elves and Balsam, rather than just Balsam and dealing with the elves somewhat peacefully afterwards when they don't have a bright star to follow. And then I'd make the point, like in the ocean, when you're following the stars for guidance, like the North Star and whatever, if we cut that out, if we
put a cloud in front of it.
Yeah, if we put a cloud in front of it, if we darkened it, if we exploded that star, I don't know, they would just be lost and aimless and on their little dinghy boat, whereas we, in a very large
ship,
long
galleon,
in a galleon, could come through and mess them up. Well, not mess them up, but come through and guide them on the right path. We could be the north wind that instead could guide them not to the North Star, but to the better star, the southern star, which is now canonically a thing in Kavran.
I love that for us.
I love that for us.
That doesn't make it hard to work out if you're going up or down at all.
No. They figured that out. The North Star and the Southern Star. The Southern Star has a small cluster of stars near it, whereas the North Star is just the Northern Star.
Oh, I love that.
So, yeah, they can figure it out.
Yeah,
Boom.
That little cluster of stars makes a small S next to it so that you know it's the Southern Star.
So cute.
God, look at us developing lore for this. Yes.
I love it.
It's only taken us until level 20.
Such rich, inspiring lore for this unique world. Oh my gosh.
Hell yeah.
Imagine if that was it. Like someone said, oh yeah, it's a fantasy world, but instead of a North Star, they have a South Star. That's the only difference. But it's like that butterfly effect thing of like, oh, now everyone sort of, I don't know. Now Santa lives in the South Pole, not the North Pole.
Oh no.
Well, because Santa lives in the North Pole, but if there was a South Star, maybe people would think that the South is better, and therefore the rumours of Santa would come from the South, not the North. Though I am now realising that Santa comes from the North Pole because of the Nordic countries and them being up north, so maybe never. He is based in Rome.
You're gonna get a real shock when you realise he doesn't exist. Are you okay over there?
The sound just kept going, didn't it? Jesus.
It did.
But honestly, how dare you? Anyway, yes.
Do we win?
If I was to recount this, would you like me to say a big speech, or would you like me to just roll a persuasion check?
You can just roll a persuasion check if you'd prefer.
I think I prefer, because I think I've gone through these points. Unless they would bring up any points. So actually, maybe I'd hear what they have to. Maybe I'll hear what they have to say first. In response. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. Instead, first, I'll go over and I would say, heck, you know, pretty much the same as we did with the others. Like, you know, we were just sort of speaking to everyone. We know things got a bit heated earlier on, and we just wanted to sort of get a vibe of, you know, what everything was, and get it.
So there's these four sort of orcs gathered around the mirror, and you've got this powerful figure of Zinda Farsight there with her white eyes, and kind of looks somehow it almost feels like she's managing to capture your gaze and maintain eye contact, even though she is obviously blind. I'm very, very glad to see that you are all doing well. Your impact on the land has been even greater than I foresaw. Although I can't help but notice that you seem to have lost one of your companions along the way.
Simultaneously, a tear just rolls down everybody's eye. Yeah, he couldn't keep up, so we had to get rid of him. No, so that's a very complicated story. So you know how we came to you for like trying to figure out his memories and such?
I remember.
Well, it turns out he was very closely related to Balsam. In a way that I can't quite remember right now, but he wasn't his dad. But he was his dad?
Sort of.
He was him, but not him. He was like his creator? No! Wait, no, yes. Sorry. I forgot. We literally had this conversation last week.
He was the vessel.
Yeah, Neo was the vessel that Balsam was going to go in. So, the reason he couldn't remember anything was because he wasn't really a thing before Balsam and before this, because he was just kind of a vessel. And the memories that we were giving him back were actually Balsam's memories, or they're his memories.
Were they?
No, sorry, no, they were his memories. But yeah, he just didn't know what he was.
So
like he didn't.
The
He
reason
was a
behind that was he wasn't a person with a soul. So that when he died,
Did he used to be?
No, Neo originally was never a person with a soul. He wasn't born the way people are born. He was created. But so that when he was brought back to life originally, it was the age of the spells that did it, but two, it was the nature of Neo meant that he didn't come back complete.
Yeah.
The missing portion being his memories.
Right.
However, when you killed him and revived him with a much more powerful and more present resurrection, both his time spent with you and the nature of that spell meant that he then, through that process, developed a soul. And so therefore...
I don't remember us making him a soul. Shit. To be fair,
this is more background information for you guys, and this is
right.
why when Balsam took him over, a little bit of Neo remains, because there are now two souls in one vessel.
Question.
Makes so much sense.
Why did he fight against Balsam then? If he was made for Balsam.
I believe he told you this, but if not, I'll just tell you anyway. So the process was easier and less problematic, basically. Basically, Neo will tell you that he had a mother who, I think Neo told you that he had a mother who was a servant in Balsam's castle, and when this thing was done and she was made pregnant, she fled.
That's why he grew up on a farm.
Yes.
Right, yeah, and then he became a paladin of those people and hung out in that place.
Oh, okay, that's all right then. Okay.
Okay.
So he was never like with Balsam.
No,
and
that was the
That's
thing.
fine.
Like, Balsam kind of lost this vessel very late on, and was not able to reproduce the effect again. Or if he was, he had a different vessel, and that body was obviously destroyed over time, thus leaving his spirit to try and find another vessel. And all those years later, then the only vessel that remains happens to have been Neo.
Yes.
And Neo happened to have been a paladin who was sworn to defend against Balsam. Like he became a paladin. Right. That is some fucking irony, Neo. Jesus. But we can't judge Neo because he's Jesus.
You can judge Jesus, it's allowed.
It's Janakin.
Did Neo also spend a bunch of time with hookers and shit?
Huh?
And he just had 12 paladin dudes that just followed him around and listened to him.
Oh yeah.
There was the Fellowship of Aegis.
Wait, but what are you talking about hookers for?
Huh? Because that's what Jesus did. He did prostitutes and stuff.
Huh?
Jesus did prostitutes. That's like most of the Bible. Most of the.
I've never read the Bible. Do I look like I've read the Bible?
Okay, then most of the New Testament with Jesus is Jesus going from town to town and meeting up with prostitutes, and like basically a big thing of it is, and Jesus went to this town and he spoke to the beggars, and it specifically mentions and the prostitutes.
Yeah, but he never had
He
sex, apparently.
them.
I mean,
I'm just saying
most
it's.
of them
I'm just
wouldn't do
saying
anything.
Why is like the word
When did he-
prostitutes mentioned so many times in the Bible? Why is Jesus spending so much time with them in the Bible?
Maybe
How old was Jesus when he died?
that's all.
He was like in his 30s. He was very young.
He had no sex.
Doubtful.
What? No, he had none.
I think it's probably more about him, believing everyone's equal and
Yeah, probably.
not treating just because you speak to someone and their job happens to be having sex with people doesn't mean they have sex
Well,
with them.
I think there's something in the Bible where someone's like, Jesus, what do I do about all these prostitutes? They're really attractive and they make me feel things I shouldn't. And he's like, well, if looking at them is a problem, pluck out your eyes.
Yeah.
Just,
Because it's just like, well, that's your problem.
Huh?
Don't make your problem their problem. It's your problem.
I mean, fair.
Yeah.
If you can't look at them without feeling lustful thoughts, then don't look at them. And if you can't not look at them, then have no eyes.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was also mainly joking. Didn't spend a lot of time.
You didn't sound like
12 dudes. I'm just saying, the New Testament is wild. Wild, I tell you. Anyways. Anywho, Neo was Jesus. So, yeah, I explained some of that
Wait, I
to
mean,
them.
Neo's never been with anyone. Not this poor boy.
Oh,
He
God.
never kissed anyone.
If only
Aww.
you could ask him.
Well, we will.
I'll send him a message.
You can certainly try.
Maybe that's what we do. Maybe when we fight Balsam, we actually just talk about Neo. Like, has he ever kissed anyone? Has he ever been with anyone? And just get Neo's sort of side of Balsam filled with so many weird, horny memories that Balsam can't fight straight. And
That's such a good idea.
Wait.
Stix is going
Win.
to seduce Balsam so he fights gay?
Fuck yeah.
well, now we're getting on to why.
Stix, take one for the
Wait.
team.
Is it considered a threesome if there's two souls inside one person?
I'm gonna say no.
Depends how much control.
It's a threesome of the soul, not of the flesh. I regret saying flesh there. Jesus Christ.
So do I.
Oh,
Have you ever had a threesome? Of the flesh? No. Of the soul? Yes.
well, in a way, God's always watching. So,
Is that what the chair in the hotel room is? It's for God.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
oh,
Literally.
him too. There's a second chair for him. No, that's
Yeah.
the Father, the Son, and the two people get it on.
Oh.
See, this is bordering on disrespectful.
Fine.
It's bordering on what?
Disrespectful.
Oh,
I think
that's
we
fine.
crossed that line a while ago.
I think we crossed that line a long while ago.
It's like,
I'm
what's
okay
right?
with it.
I'm fine with it.
I don't like religion anyway.
I don't believe in it.
I think your water bottle sounds like a seagull.
It does.
I am a seagull.
It's not the water bottle.
I'm a seagull. Cut to Abby on the beach just stealing people's chips.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Those
Just walking
people
past people
are
just-
me. Those were my chips. We each had our own, and then Abby ate mine as well.
Yum, yum, yum.
And again, Abby's just on the beach. She just picks up a dog and walks away with it.
Oh,
When we went to on that beach trip, and you guys swam out to the rock, you didn't see all the things I had to stop Abby from stealing.
Oh, God.
Chips, shoes.
Oh yeah, the shoes.
The children. And
That was
just
a hard one.
drop
The
them.
children. I would not be stealing children.
No, then you just drop them a few meters into the ocean. It's like,
Ah.
the only problem
Yes.
with that is it would be Abby wouldn't go in the water because it'd be too cold for her.
Chilly.
Right.
back to it.
So, did you want to make a persuasion check?
Who
Yeah.
are we talking to? Oh yeah.
Happening
I'm-
anymore.
Speaking to the orcs. Persuasion. 30. Bitches.
30. Okay. And what's the plan that you guys are going with?
I think the one that we're going with is. Correct me if
You've
I'm wrong,
got
but I think-
Assault on the Elves, Coup, and Head of the Snake. Is
Head
how
of
I've
the
listed them
Snake.
down.
yeah, I think we're going for Head of the Snake.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's all right. I just want to make sure that I'm converting people to the right opinion, and I don't go. And these people are voting for this, and you're like, but I've got a 30 persuasion check.
Yeah, you needed a 35. Which I could technically do if I cast guidance and got in that 20.
It does look like Avery has seen some shit.
So that's his name, Avery.
Yeah.
That's
He likes to play
That's cool.
rugby. And he
Avery.
eats popsicles after he's won his matches.
What was the other one you got
Well, the other squishmallow.
at the same time? Yeah.
Patch. My 101 Dalmatian.
Aw.
That's cute.
What does Patch like to do?
Be a dog.
I'm asking these questions while I look things up in my notes. To buy time.
I assume these are recent purchases, not just two that you've pulled from the pack.
No, these are recent.
It's an roll pillow that Ben had to buy me because I got 16 kills in Apex.
Well done.
Got 2
A
black.
good choice.
And we now officially have too many cinema roll things in the apartment.
That's not possible.
Thank
It
you.
is
See?
possible.
Can you
It-
fit in the apartment still, Ben?
Yes.
Therefore,
Then
you
it's
do
not.
have too many.
Exactly.
In this room right now, I can only see 6 cinema roll items.
7, you're wearing one.
7 cinema roll items. So
That room is quite big, so therefore
8.
it's fine.
Yeah, 8. There's a lamp behind me.
And one of them is a shopping bag. I don't know.
I
That's-
think
That hardly counts.
I think it kind of counts.
I mean, it counts, but like barely.
The others, 2 of them are like little blind box figures, but they're in a box to display with multiple other figures, so technically that's just one.
Yeah. That's fine. That's
Actually,
like on a shelf that's like already being used for other things. That's fine.
on a shelf that's already being used for a really old timey phone that we've never used, a random photo of a random sketch of a random street, a plastic plant, and candles.
And
It's a wild.
play.
Oh, and a record player. That's a wild shelf if you look at it, actually. Anyways.
Also a teddy that looks like a red panda.
And a teddy that looks like a red panda.
I love red pandas.
Love a red panda.
They're so cute.
They're adorable. Have you
JJ,
been
can we
looking
have
up?
a red panda?
I think that's illegal.
I'm gonna Google it.
Only illegal if they find it.
Don't say that, Ben. We'll be going to the zoo with an empty bag. And not...
You know what? I really can't
I
find
feel
it.
like it probably comes under
Aww.
the exotic animals rule.
Yes, it is illegal to own a red panda as a pet in most places.
What
because
if you
they
don't?
are
It
endangered.
just lives with you.
But it just happens to be there.
It's a roommate. It pays
Yeah, he pays. I was gonna say that.
He can leave whenever he wants to, as soon as he figures out how a door works.
Exactly.
You've seen a pet panda. He's never figuring that out.
Well, that's
That's
tough for him, I guess.
That's like saying someone can leave prison as soon as they find where the keys are.
Well, it's like a baby can leave any time it wants, as soon as it grows up and figures out how to use it. You know, use a door, do stuff. Yeah, can leave anytime they want. Besides, red pandas are wily. Figure out another way out.
Oh, I love red pandas so much. So many of them have had babies recently. Makes me so happy.
Have you seen Mars, the baby?
Yeah!
Oh.
My mum always sends it to me. Every day she sends me the videos and I've already seen them. But I'm like, thank you, mother. She loves Hippos.
I love him. He's so cute.
He is adorable.
I love the videos when he's swimming underwater as well. He's so cute. And his little bum kind of floats.
Yeah. I like when he just splats on the floor.
Yeah, when they're trying to carry him, and he's he's learning to dead weight.
He's just so cute.
That's really cute. Oh.
Anywho's, have you researched?
Oh yeah, I'm just letting you guys talk about pandas.
Yeah,
I love pandas.
that's great.
Just need to let, when Abby's talking about something like that, you just need to let it come to its natural conclusion. Just let her tucker herself out on the subject. So yeah, you guys finish talking to the orcs. You make your way, back and manage to get some food for yourself in the little bit of time remaining before a servant is sent round to gather everyone back up, and slowly make your way back to the meeting hall. There is just one change to
Ooh. How exciting. What were the 3 words that you are using?
sorry?
You had 3 words you're using to describe what's happened.
Yes, I had
They're
head of the
both-
snake, coup, and assault.
What is coup?
So a coup is an unlawful political takeover, is the technical definition. So that is the plan to subtly undermine the regime of the elves and garner a secret rebel force to seize power, imprison the people in charge, and usurp their position.
I mean, that sounds fun, but it sounds like a lot of effort.
That sounds like a lot of work, a
It
lot
would
of
be
time. really
It
have.
would be a slow, long-term plan.
Yeah,
But
we don't
it
have.
would probably
We can
be
do
the
that
plan
afterwards.
That involved the least death.
We can do that one after we've killed
And
Balsam.
if it was successful, then it would potentially bring the elves back to your side before any. And the plan is to do that. So anyone voting for coup is trying to bring the elves back on side before any other assaults take place.
Fair enough. Okay,
I
let's get to the.
I don't know what the context is in which we'd be fighting Balsam, but are we not concerned that if we don't get the elves back on our side, they're going to be part of that fight, and it's going to make it harder?
But the thing is, we only need to defeat Balsam, and then his army falls as well.
Guarded by the elves, we'll have to go through the elves to get to it.
But the idea is, I thought the idea was we bring an army as basically a massive distraction, so that the armies will obviously be fighting that, and then us three won't be in the big fight going through an army to get to Balsam. We'll be going around to try and get to him another way. And once Balsam is defeated, I believe we looked into it and it was like, yeah, once Balsam defeated, his undead army that he's controlling basically collapses. And then, or at the very least, loses a lot of its competency. At the very least. Which...
Want to make a nature check for me? Or a religion check?
Yeah. Because I thought we looked into that. Nature or religion?
Nature or religion.
Nature! 26.
Okay. Generally, one of two things happens when necromancers are defeated. Either their power is actively holding together the undead, and the undead just goes back to being dead. Or they have instilled power within the undead, and so the undead just becomes free. And so it persists, but is only powered by its own will, which is generally just either do nothing or attack whatever it sees. It becomes,
But it
undead
therefore
don't tend to gather in force unless something is making them. So they would probably turn on each other, on anyone who came near them, and things like that.
Exactly. Therefore, they wouldn't be a cohesive unit that could, flank and could form battle plans, could fire a volley of, a unified volley of arrow fire or lead a cavalry charge.
Exactly.
No, it would just be a bunch of undead in the middle of a field going, and not really doing anything, swinging swords about, possibly even hitting themselves and each other if it's multiple different kinds of undead. And potentially losing a lot of power as well, because some of them might be physically, given some power or whatever by Balsam. Therefore, yeah. So at the very least, that would be a massive thing. And then you've got the elves who are fighting alongside Balsam are now also being attacked by this undead, weakening them. As much as I don't want to see the elves dying, it might unify them with us to be like, all right, well now, yeah, fucking fight with us, and we'll figure your shit out later, sort of thing, and we can work that out. Or, as Joe just said, they could all just drop to the floor, like in Star Wars Episode 1, when all the droids get destroyed, and they just sort of stood there doing nothing. They just sort of knock them down. That's what I'm kind of hoping for.
Yeah.
Situation where all the skeletons just sort of like stand there doing nothing, and then people can just sort of like punch them down. We have a sort of Jar Jar Binks character going, but I forgot what he says.
Oh dear. Yes.
Anyways,
but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Anyways.
What are the
So
I believe that was
to the council chambers, and this time there is one change that is waiting for you. You recognize the giant form of Northi this time, It seems
Hey!
indeed sent an emissary very quickly.
How did
In
this
response,
happen? Did he go
ready to-
into a cupboard and then just come out and he's like massive?
You went
Like,
into a cupboard
oh,
and then turned massive in the cupboard, breaking the cupboard.
yeah.
He went into the cupboard, turned massive, couldn't get out of the cupboard, so had to go.
Is wearing the cupboard.
Just head to the top.
Yeah.
He opens the chest bit.
I call this a chest plate.
Nice.
Sorry, you have armor. I have an armoire. Inspiration for me because I am so great.
Inspiration for the DM.
Mm-hmm. Is cumulonimbus there?
They are not.
Why?
Well, shall we say that you guys get there first and you see you see Northy there, and you go, you ask that question?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it would be best. I think my presence alone is probably going to make some people quite uncomfortable. I thought it best if she was safely somewhere else. The king has provided a room off to the side near the in the upper rafters of the city.
And Arwen leaves the pavilion. She's thinking about
it. If it all gets too serious, I know where I'm going.
And the session is derailed as Arwen goes to find an owlbear. But yeah, so you guys take your places, maybe talking to, just sort of idly chatting with Northy. People slowly begin to return. One point you hear some quite light footsteps in the corridor. Does anyone speak Dwarvish?
Me.
I speak Dwarvish.
Okay, then you would hear an explosive amount of Dwarvish swearing.
Have they come across the cupboard?
Just an explosive amount of dwarven swearing culminated in, what is that thing doing here? All in Dwarvish. And you can see Lucinda has arrived, and she is just like livid. You can see she is just like spitting with rage.
Lucinda?
Lucinda. Yes, the Dwarven Councilwoman.
Oh, yeah, her. That's fine.
Yeah, she was
vehemently opposed.
Yes.
Oh, so the king wasn't opposed?
No.
Oh! I thought it was the king and whatever her name is. Nice lady. I've forgotten her name.
Lady Kavran.
Yeah. I forgot about Lucinda. I was like, which one of you two?
I think because
I
think because we've talked to her the most, I keep thinking that she's a councilwoman, but no, she's just a high mage.
She's just a high mage here in Gardenheim. If this was taking place elsewhere, she might be there.
She probably wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Like King Corwin, you can see there are like, he and Genevieve are like sat like front and center in the mirror, but there are like you can see people behind him who are just kind of listening in. Like they don't get a say, they're not speaking, but they're just like listening in, so they're aware of the situation.
Okay.
Things like that. Yeah, you can see Queen Riedel. She's there with another gnome lady who you know to be Boovie Muddenbrook, her aunt. So she's got, and occasionally they're sort of like putting their heads together and having a little like private thing. people have brought advisors and things like that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, which is why it wasn't like super weird that Northie was there as a gnome, as a dwarf.
Yeah.
Because it was like he was basically presented as the giant expert, which he is.
Yeah.
But
I
as a
mean,
way
it
to
is.
kind of and because the king would had to have approved that in order for him to get in the first place.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah. So, but eventually the council is settled. King Garmstar is like, well, I hope everyone is suitably well fed and ready to resume these diplomatic proceedings. And there's kind of a harumph from Lucinda. And the king just kind of just pauses for a second and then just carries on. We must all, I hope everyone has had the time to discuss, had the time to meet with those people they wish to speak to, and has reached their own decisions. I suppose, as is tradition in these things, I will start off. We are split. We feel like the elves are so far away from us personally, marching all of our troops halfway across the country for an assault on them would be an endeavor unwise to undertake in these current times, and we are for either going directly to Balsam or the attempted coup. And then it kind of gestures, to King Colwyn, and King Colwyn kind of stands up in the mirror and says, well, I remain unchanged. I am in favor of assault. However, Lady Genevieve, along with Lord Lucas, believe that the attempted coup would be the more effective result. Okay, sits down again. Queen Riedel stands up in the mirror and says, well, as it was my idea, I'm still in favor of the coup.
There's gnomes.
Yeah, there's gnomes. However, having spoken to some of my advisors and counselors, they are of the opinion that a more direct assault on Balsam would be lead to a favorable outcome for us all. Lady Genevine stands up. She's like, well, I'm sure it won't come as a shock to many of you, especially those of you that I spoke to, but I think a plan that involves the least bloodshed of my people and others is the best one to go for. I am in favor of this attempted coup.
Oh.
As I'm sure I don't need to remind you, given the circumstances, my vote counts twice.
Oh.
Pyronix stands up next and says, well, we were initially in favor of an assault, but we have chosen to listen to the advice of those potentially wiser around us, and we have decided that our forces would be better directed at direct assault on Balsam, wherever that may take place. Scully steps up for the orcs. Says, "Well, we are somewhat split still. We were hoping that a majority might have been decided before we had to speak. However, it seems while we are in agreement that an assault is probably not the best idea anymore, we are not sure what to do elsewise, and therefore we are split between coup and a direct assault on Balsam rather than our elven brethren." And she kind of sort of sits back down in the mirror nervously, and you see Queen Riddle then begins to speak. "Well, if I've counted the votes correctly, I believe that we are in favor of
No.
And she begins to speak. Northy very politely kind of raises his hand, and then in the pause says, "Well, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm sure we'll all have to get used to this. I believe I get a vote in this, do I not?" As King Gam has informed me, you voted, and we do have a place on this council. And well, from our discussions with the Fellowship of Aegis, and what I've learned about the situation here from King Garm and Lady Cathra, I speak for the Giants when I say we are in favor of a more direct assault on Balsam. We wish not to attack anyone that we don't have to, would prefer not to assault the elves.
Hell yeah. Fucking North clutch.
At this, Lucinda kind of stands up. "We are not seriously giving that thing a vote, are we?"
Excuse me?
I will not
I
stand
believe
for
this is democracy, love.
I will not stand for this. I will not be part of some joke of a council where they are allowed to participate. I refuse.
Okay, bye then.
She begins to walk. Now, a signal from King Garm and these two dwarves who kind of have like poleaxes by the door kind of cross them to prevent them from leaving. And he's just sat still in his chair. He just looks over at Lucinda and is like, "Lucinda, you have two choices. You can accept the will of this council and abide by its decision, or you can resign your position and we will rescind your vote.
Oof.
You will no longer have a position or voting power within this council. And we will find someone else to take your place. For the time being,
Me?
I would nominate Lady Cathra to
Yeah,
assume
that's
your
probably
position
better.
on the council until another suitable replacement can be found."
We like Lady Cathra.
Yeah, we do.
We probably don't want anyone not on side, because I'm seeing a situation in which she betrays us. It would be pretty major to betray us over Giant,
Betrayal.
but But then I don't think Stix would really have anything to say to her if she's being this nasty. So, yeah. Continue.
Yeah, so she pauses in front of the guards barring her way, and like just kind of like seems to just like stand facing away from everyone, just sort of like shoulders rising rapidly with just this anger. It seems like just something, the intensity of emotion flowing through her, and then almost without warning, she just lets out a scream, and like thrusts her hand out, and this bolt of like green energy just fires like into the wall, in front. Like she just screeches in frustration.
I think Stix just immediately pulls out his, like, I don't know if we have our weapons here. I don't imagine we do as a meeting council, but fucking, I don't actually know what I can do. Like, just sort of preps a spell in his hand or something. Like, holy shit!
And she just like just kind of like after this like kind of like burst of energy, she kind of just like slumps her head, and then like somewhat sulkily just walks back to her seat and just like kind of sits in it and like crosses her arms across her chest and just sits there, like classic like I can't do anything else, but I'm just going to sit here and seethe and let everyone know that I'm grumpy.
Wait, but what was that? Was that just a temper tantrum? Are you fucking kidding me? She's not mature enough to be on the count. I'm more mature than her. Jesus. And I fought with a king. Okay, well, that's her.
Most people seem to be a little bit sort of shocked by this. You can see certainly those in mirrors are like sort of turning and like whispering to each other and things like that behind their hands. And it's actually Pyronix that stands up. He says, well, with we go back to the vote. I'm afraid I think this leaves us tied, with 6 votes for a direct assault on Balsam, 1 for a direct assault on the elves, and 6 for an attempted coup.
Question.
Yes.
Do the giants not get 2 votes because they are a singular person?
No.
Just like the elves.
Basically, the giants' position is they have 1 seat on the council. Was what they.
Right. Okay.
So because everyone normally has 2 seats on the council, they're kind of splitting their votes between like councillors and monarchy, because it's a wider council and there are different numbers of people. But the giants, it was voted, would get 1 seat on the council, so they get 1 vote.
Okay. Fair enough.
Any seat at the table is better than none.
Mm-hmm. Could I suggest
a more diplomatic way of getting them in the room without being too overbearing?
Could I
imagine to like a 3-foot gnome, a 20-foot giant's pretty intimidating, even if they are lovely.
They are. Yeah. Could I suggest that we proceed with a coup, but me, Stix, and Klari try and take down Balsam without there being like a whole, like a stealth mission. Then we get both things.
Yeah. Well, I think the thing is that for our stealth mission, we need the army to come by and do the big attack so that we are not having to stealth through an entire army.
Yeah, for your kind of reference, Abby, the intelligence is that Balsam has retreated with his forces to his castle in the desert. So the army that he gathered and the extra forces he gathered from the cities he destroyed are surrounding that castle, basically. So yeah, as Ben says, the general consensus is the army will cause a distraction. They will destroy and lure out a load of forces, and you guys can go in and do what you do. But if I can just finish what Pyrenees was saying. Seeing as we now have an odd number of votes, and we are tied for 2 of them, if everyone is amenable, I think in Corwin you have the deciding vote here. As the only one who has voted for a direct assault, that is the option that is not going to be in the majority. So if we eliminate that from the table, if everyone kind of sort of like looks around, if everyone is amenable to this, then I think in Corwin should have the deciding vote here. There's a kind of general murmur of assent from around the table, and she just kind of stands up, looking a little bit pompous and sort of self-important. Well, if it must come down to me, and if I feel something is better than nothing. I'm not a fan of sitting around and waiting for things to happen. I would prefer to act. Therefore, I vote for an assault on Balsam.
Cool. Good shit.
Whew.
So, 7-6. The vote is assault on Balsam.
We're going to really regret this when we find out later on that like Rosen's End was completely razed and everything went super badly. I'm sure it's fine.
It's fine.
That's a campaign too.
Most of Rosen's End's still there.
You say most of?
As long as our house is still there, I think Stix is okay with that.
You might have some time to go and check on things.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
King Garm stands up and says, well, with that decided, we have a lot of planning to do. And while I feel like this is generally covered, I feel I would be remiss to not address it directly. Those who are absent. If I am to understand the general consensus correctly, we are all prepared to make the preparations and make for an assault. Those who are absent, the tieflings, the halflings, their intentions are unknown to us, and that is concerning to me. I am not a fan of leaving ourselves vulnerable to an enemy we don't know that is there. If anyone has any suggestions for how to deal with this problem beforehand, otherwise I fear we may be leaving ourselves exposed to another enemy that we don't know about, maybe collaborating behind our back.
I met the halfling guy, right? Like, we met the halfling and we met the tiefling leaders.
Yeah, you've met all the councillors previously.
Yeah. I've got some sending. I got 2 sending scrolls, in fact. Could I send a sending scroll to them? And could I use sending?
Don't send it to Chip, because he's mute.
But sending works via your mind.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Does it? Would I know? Can I ask
It
Kathra?
does.
Okay.
It does work telepathically.
Okay.
Can I
So do we think it might be a good idea if I just quickly were to use these now and ask a question? Okay. So 25 words. I'm going to use both my sending scrolls. I'm so glad I got these. I'm going to use my sending scrolls, and I'm going to message them saying, "Hello." Hold on. I need to... Stix, your savior here. Where are you for meeting? Are you with us? Are you safe? Anything else I should add here? We are... Actually, maybe I would probably do this after we've made a plan, so that I could be like, oh yeah, if you're listening, send your armies here. Or like, we're making plans. No, I wouldn't say that, because if that would be stupid, because if they're not with us, I've just told them exactly what we're about to do. So I'd say, if with us... Hold on, sorry. So, if with us, send signal. If in danger, say. And I'm going to send that to both.
Okay. Right. Let me just double check. Sending. I know the spell reasonably well, but I just double check. Summon. Dagger. Sketch of blast. Shield. Seeming. Sending. Here we go. You send a short message, 25 words, a few words, a creature you have met or can describe. Or a creature described to you by someone who has met it. A target hears the message's mind, recognizes you as a sender, and can answer in a like manner. The spell enables the target to understand the meaning of your message. Send across any distance. 5% chance if they're on a different plane. Upon receiving the message, the creature can block your ability to reach it again with this spell for 8 hours. If you try to send another message during that time, you learn that you are blocked and the spell fails. Okay. So, who do you send it to first?
First, I send it to Chip, the halfling.
Okay, Chip Greengrass, the halfling. So, you get the response back. Oh, Stix. Wasn't sure what happened. The mirror didn't seem to work. Been wondering what's been going on, if it worked for anyone else.
Oh, he's missed. Oh my god.
Hold on. I don't fucking... Part of me doesn't trust that. Though these were, like, temperamental, weren't they?
These were like a last-minute thing, and creating it so that they worked... The problem was linking so... Like, scrying mirrors and things are a thing, but the problem is trying to get so many linked on the same chain so that everyone can see everyone.
Okay.
Is basically the problem there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like how it takes more bandwidth to get more people on a group call.
Okay. So, there's a chance, yes, that he's just missed the call. So if we were to find him, because a mirror was sent to him, Therefore, he can be, we're assuming he can be
the
thing.
mirror was sent to the half.
Yeah. We can speak to him and tell him everything that's happened and everything that's going on. And it's sad he hasn't got a vote in the matter, but unfortunately we just had to do what we had to do, and he's going to have to go along with it. But we can do that, potentially.
He was quite a nice guy. So.
He was a nice guy. Then I send one to the... Okay, so with that sorted, I would now like to send the same thing to the tieflings.
Okay.
Send it to Asgard.
Yeah.
Not Ashika.
Okay. So you send it to him, and you just don't get a response.
He's dead.
Do I get the sense that my message has gone through? Like, so the spell worked. I was able to send a message. It wasn't like the spell ended.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because the spell didn't work, my sending scroll, well, I mean, it could just be defunct, but I feel like I would know whether the message was received or not.
Has it got 2 blue ticks?
Or was I left on red?
So, I think, based on the description of the spell, you don't know if the spell was received or not. You just know that you haven't received a response.
I know I haven't received a response, and I know the spell didn't cancel. Like, as in, like, there was something wrong with... I don't know, say they were on a different plane of existence and I rolled that 5% chance. The spell is cancelled. I know the spell isn't cancelled. So potentially either they're being blocked or they're choosing not to answer.
Or they're dead.
Or they're dead. But then it says to a willing creature, and if they're dead, they're not willing, so would it just cancel and therefore the spell stopped?
So what it says is, if the target is on a different plane of existence to you, there is a 5% chance the message doesn't arrive. You know if the delivery fails.
If they're dead, are they technically on another plane of existence because they're in heaven or hell?
I think it says to a willing creature, and when you die, your body actually just becomes an object.
It doesn't have to be a willing creature, it's just a creature.
Oh, sorry, yeah, a creature. But when you die, you are not a creature.
No, when you
So
die, you're an object.
Yeah.
Which makes
so
it
I
a
know.
great target for mimics.
Yeah. So that means that I know they're alive, and I know that. Well, yeah, I know they're alive, and I know the spell was sent, but they just never sent a reply. Which I'm going to assume means they're no longer on side. As the king potentially said, maybe they've made an agreement to get their home back. Which is fair enough. Okay. We can work with this. Given we're probably going to have some time for planning and preparing, one thing, just a note while it's in my head, I would like some more made because I believe we are going to want to speak to the fire giants. We're going to need to know to get ready for an attack. We're going to join them for an attack, or they're going to need to join us for an attack against Balsam. If they're still alive, but yeah. Boom. Cool. So yeah, I relay that to the council. So I relay that. Okay. So sorry, I stepped out for a second. I received word from the halfling delegation, Mr. Chip, and his mirror didn't work. That's what he has said. His mirror didn't work. Can I make an insight check on a sending reply?
You can. It's going to be a very high DC for two reasons. One, it's just telepathic communication, so you've got no facial
I can't.
expressions or anything to go off.
Yeah.
Two, you've never spoken to Chip because he's technically mute, so you have
Yeah.
no idea what his voice even would sound like to deceive you.
Or
20's great, but it's not enough for this DC.
that is completely fair enough.
With your plus one, you'd have needed a nat 20.
Yeah, no, that is fair enough. So yeah, I think I would probably just say, I don't know, like when I briefly met him, he seemed like a decent guy. I think maybe we can trust him, but just keep your guard up and know that, yeah, he says his mirror didn't work. I think that's what I would say to the council, and I would say that I also sent a message to the tieflings, and the spell didn't fail, so I know they're alive, and but I don't know whether it was maybe not received because of some divination magic, or it was not received because they've decided to side with Balsam.
Yeah, Kavran said. Yes, certain people do have the ability to block unwanted distance communication. It may be after they escaped that they decided to employ something like this, or it may be that they never made it out in the first place.
Was a mirror sent to the tieflings? It was, wasn't it?
A mirror was sent to a delegate from, yes, we don't know whether or not Ashika and Azagrat ever made it. We have had no contact from them since the last meeting.
So maybe, obviously, while things are being prepared and stuff, one thing we should maybe do is just go to these places and double check in and make sure things are okay. Might be just a really quick thing we can do to be like, hey, what's going on? And we've got like teleporting spells and stuff so we can like get away if need be, if things aren't what they appear. So that should be a hopefully pretty quick thing of like, go in, tell them everything, tell them where to meet. Obviously, we don't know that yet, but yeah. Cool. Yeah, that's my input on that bit.
Okay. Well, I think the best thing to do now is if you guys make a plan, and I'll let you guys decide what the plan is going to be, rather than kind of RP making a plan with, a dozen different people. If you guys make a plan of what you guys want to do, then I can prep from there.
Okay, so I think for now, Stix's idea anyway is to get a couple more sending scrolls made. He'll put in whatever gold he needs to help that along. Then, with the group, maybe we'll like teleport or whatever to the halfling place and to the tiefling place to speak to the delegates. Maybe we could find out how like these mirrors were sent to them, like who sent them the mirrors, because they did say they had like arcanists doing that. Maybe we can like, I don't know, meet up with a spellcaster who teleported there and ask them to teleport us.
Yeah.
Or keep them safe or whatever. And that might be easier, and then I can obviously say, yeah, I can get us back if you just get us there. Just to double check up on what they're doing, make sure that, are things okay. Other than that, I don't think for Stix he's got any other plans. Don't know about you guys.
No. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. The only question I've got for you then at this time is, who are you going to see first?
Green grass.
Yeah, Chip Greengrass first. That seems an easier one because we know he replied. So
Yeah.
Okay. You're going to go see the halflings first.
yeah.
Okay, cool. I will make sure that that's ready for next session then.
Cool. Yeah. Is this like meeting done then? Is this meeting like?
it would continue for the rest of the day, planning things like, where are groups of troops gonna meet? How long is it gonna take? Who needs to go away and speak to which generals about what type thing?
So nothing we care about.
Yeah, nothing that we actually need
Read
to
the minutes
plan.
later.
Fortunately, in this fantasy world, all the NPCs do that stuff in the background. Even I don't have to worry about it.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
What
no,
kind
so
of them?
it's fine. Yeah, like most of the rest of the council would be like, yeah. If you've been like, we're going to go and check on these people and make sure everyone's on the level, everyone's just happy to be like, well, these are kind of the most powerful group of heroes we've got at the moment, so I don't have to risk anyone doing it if they're going to do it.
Yeah. Other than and potential dwarven people we might ask to help us get there. But, yeah. Cool. Okay. Sweet.
Yeah. So I will go away and prepare things like a list of NPCs that you can talk to about who transported mirrors. And
Cool.
the names of other halflings that you may or may not interact with.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah, and then I shall continue preparing work on the inner workings of Balsam's castle.
And after all this delegation, we level up again. Level 21, baby. Let's go.
Woo! I get to level up in my multi-class things.
What do you imagine a 21st level would look like for you, for Stix, Ben?
We'd have to just get something in something else.
Yeah, I think Stix with multi-class into probably cleric or druid. I think. I'm not very wisdomous. In fact, I think wisdom is my lowest score.
What is your wisdom score? Because you need at least a 13
Oh,
multi-class.
yeah, it needs to be 13. Shit. In which case, no, I'd probably just go into fighter then.
I think that's 13 strength or dexterity you need for fighter.
Yeah, I got 18 strength and 14 dexterity, so I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got 12 wisdom, so I think.
No fictitious multi-class for you.
No fictitious, aww.
Only real. Yay.
Only the real multi-class. Man, that'd be fun.
You guys haven't even done a combat at level 20.
Yeah. You know what, JJ? We've done a combat of words.
Yeah. Combat of the mind.
Yeah.
And did any of you use a single spell or resource to do it?
Yeah. Stix used up a lot of the fucks he has to give on this.
So true.
Back on a long rest.
They don't. He's only got a finite amount of those. You only get so many of them.
The fucks song, where the guy's
No.
playing it on a ukulele.
Oh yes. Yeah, that's funny. That's very funny.
Abby, you definitely have, because I've played it for you. But
Yeah,
you
it
possibly
rings a
boxed it
bell.
out.
Yeah, probably.
I'll send it
Did
to
it
you
have a
again.
dog in it?
No.
Definitely
Right.
locked.
Well, thank you very much, Sir JJ.
That's alright. It's been a
Okay.
very different couple of sessions. trying
Yes.
to do lots of negotiating and trying to remember lots of different accents with varying degrees of success. I am no
That's
voice
very-
actor, but one day maybe I will be.
I'm very impressed with your range of well, just remembering all the different people and their different accents.
Oh, I have big long lists of things for exactly that purpose. About
Yes.
who is where and what and why.
Yeah, I don't think no. I had no such inclinations for my campaign, and do not ever think I could do anything like that. I think I've sort of avowed myself that in future campaigns I'm going to stay away from big councils and politics. That seems scary.
That's fair.
Seems
It's a lot of
scary.
fun, but yeah, it's a lot to hold in the head, which is why I sometimes just need a minute to be like, right, what is this character's motivations again? Ah, yes, they believe this.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. I'll
That's
catch
alright.
you later.
Catch you later.
Indeed. Bye.